Old photos unsettle us because they don't just preserve the past, they show us a version of ourselves we never actually lived. Think about it. When someone snapped that picture, you weren't aware of how you looked. You were inside your head, caught in your own thoughts, your own perspective. You never saw that exact image of yourself until years later. In other words, the photograph is evidence of a moment you didn't really experience. That's why it feels like looking at a stranger. You recognize the face, the posture, the clothes, but you don't remember being that person. You remember the blur around the photo, the heat of the day, the noise of the room, the nervousness you felt, but not the frozen second the camera immortalized. That version of you existed only for the lens, not for your consciousness. And so the photo feels like a lie, not because it fabricates, but because it shows a perspective you could never have had. You never stood across the room looking at yourself laugh. You never saw yourself as others saw you. The photo is less a memory and more a parallel reality, one where you are both present and absent, real and alien. This is the uncanny truth of old photographs. They don't just remind us of who we were, they remind us that even in our own lives, we are partly strangers. Parts of us exist only in the eyes of others, only in the lens of the camera, only in fragments we never got to live firsthand. That's why old photos sting. They prove that pieces of your own life belong to everyone but you.